Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Monday here on the show, Monday, the week of July 28, 2025. And that means we got another crazy weekend coming. Vinny will be moving in again. SummerSlam weekend. And that means Saturday and Sunday, Vinny and I will be watching SummerSlam and doing a show immediately afterwards. And I will also be doing shows later on in the evening, both nights, with Dave Meltzer for subscribers. So a lot of stuff to talk about for the weekend. We have a lineup for both shows, with the exception of the TLC match. We don't know what night that's going to be on yet. But we'll go over the lineup here today, and then I got a question for everybody. We'll do that one after the break. I have a sincere question I would like to ask all of you, particularly those of you that are big WWE fans. We also have the Raw lineup for tonight. We actually have 3 segments announced for Dynamite already, which seems like almost a miracle at this point. We got updates on Hulk Hogan and the WWE Unreal show, which is debuting tomorrow. We got a big update on the G1 and Drew McIntyre and pretty much all of the rest of the news as well. If you want to text us here today, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com, as well as F4W Online Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. $10 cameos, always a good time. Get a personalized cameo for just $10. F4W Online on Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez, X and Blue Sky. Old Filthy Tom is joining us after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
It's Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V, and we hope that you enjoy the show.
Should I do one more time? Huh? I played the entire song before realizing I had not hit record.
I figured as much.
So I had to start the entire show over again. Uh-oh. Is my internet down? My internet died. Yeah. All right. Stand by, everybody. Hi, everybody. We're back. And we're just gonna barrel on through, right, Vinny? What do we have on that Facebook thing? Now it says no audio. Jared, do we have audio?
I can hear you.
Honestly, what is going on?
Yeah, we just watched a movie about
this. What
this.
is up with my internet? Lost everybody again. Curry says no problems with the Big Vinny V show.
His words.
Not since the first one.
I was going to say, the very first one was a
many
disaster.
problems. Many problems.
We've had quite a few.
Yeah, and you know what I do? I just barrel on through.
Bryan.
Barrel on through should be the name of this show. What the hell's going on this week? Like, every single show, something goes terribly wrong. Today, I didn't have the music set to go at first. Then I got it set to go, but I forgot to hit record. Finally, I hit record and got the song going right. Golly. One disaster after another here. We're starting 15 minutes late. I still can't find the video, Jared. Is it up? Where is everything? Granny's joining us here today via phone. We cannot connect our audio or video. It's a blank screen. I don't know what's going on. What are we doing? Should we just quit today? I don't know what the problem is, Granny. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what's going on. We still have no video. I got a question. Where's the goddamn video at?
You gotta fire Jared.
All right, now it's up. Hello, everybody.
This is the one you told me to do last week, Undertaker plus Psycho Kid.
Okay.
Are you done laughing?
Yeah, we're done.
Yes, Granny, I apologize.
There'll be more.
Then Psycho Sid comes out with blonde curly hair. Hard to pull. Lasts a while before he gets out of it. I had to give that a 10.
A 10.
Oh, wow.
Undertaker won a match and a belt. That's a 10 on the Granny scale.
Victor is still at it more than ever this week. as far as the soaps go.
Hell of a report, Granny.
All right.
That was a 10 on the Granny soap opera report scale.
That's just a minute.
Jared, you're forgiven. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Is here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler is joining us here today, as always. How you doing, Filthy?
Not too bad.
Good. Any updates?
No.
Okay. Is there really no update? You just only talked about it.
I was here Friday.
I don't know.
I had some tests done. It's Monday morning. Usually they don't do much at the hospital on the weekend. So, you
That
know.
sucks.
Would you expect me to have surgery?
Hey,
in 2
I don't know.
days?
You've been pushing like it's imminent. Like it could be at any time. I'm expecting you to come in Wednesday and do a dance or something.
No.
Okay. Hey, listen, we got Raw tonight. And Jey Uso will be facing Bronson Reed, which was originally a SummerSlam match. Now it's on Raw. We got Finn Balor and JD defending the tag team titles against the LWO, which should be pretty great. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Nikki Bella, and Stephanie Vaquer versus Naomi, Chelsea, and the Secret Hervis. Roman Reigns will appear. World Heavyweight Champion Gunther will appear. And CM Punk will appear. So that's the lineup for tonight. And I wasn't actually going to talk about this at all, but, you know, you never know how this show's going to go, Tom. I was reading some interviews that Brie Bella had done. You heard any of these lately?
I did see a couple of quips
Yeah.
from the interview.
Everybody's asking about Brie. Is Brie going to come back? Is Brie going to come back? And, I mean, originally, I believe the idea for Evolution, before Liv got hurt, was the Bellas against Liv and Raquel. Okay? So that tells me that she was going to come back. Now, Nikki was asked about it a while ago and said there were discussions. And then, of course, Brie later said, I'm just waiting for a call. I never got it. Never heard from him. Never talked to him. And I'm not saying she's lying, although Bryan Danielson did once talk about how much fun lying was, and they are, they're married. But, a thing with WWE is they basically want you to lie. If you've been having conversations but they haven't made an announcement yet, you're supposed to say we haven't been having any conversations. So I'm skeptical of that they never talked and she's just waiting for a call. Why would Nikki say we're working on this if she'd never even gotten a call? And finally I will say, she had various reasons why. Like all this week, it's about how she's not coming back. And she's had various explanations. And one of them was that, it would be kind of uncomfortable since my husband is with AEW. And right there, I was like, all right, are you coming back Sunday or what? I've seen this so many times where, the week before the show, somebody has to go and explain how they're not coming back. And then the next thing you know, they're back. I'm not saying that, I'm not reporting anything because I don't know, but the idea that she can't come back to WWE because her husband isn't even in AEW right now. They're paying him, but he's done. He's retired. He made one appearance at, the All In show, and then in a heated interview is going, I'm not back. I'm done. It was just, I was there for the day. He shows up backstage every now and then. But I mean,
he did randomly show up on Dean too.
Yeah. But I mean, did we not have Zelina Vega in WWE and Malachi in AEW at the same time, and it was no problem whatsoever? And do we not have Rhea Ripley in WWE and Buddy Matthews is in AEW and it's no problem whatsoever? Now all of a sudden it's weird if Nikki or if Brie is going to be on WWE TV, but, Bryan Danielson is retired from AEW. I don't buy that for a second. So when I heard that, my You know, I got real skeptical that she's not coming back. And in fact, I immediately thought she's coming back at SummerSlam, but who knows? I guess we'll see. But we do have the lineup for both nights of SummerSlam. And I want to ask you this, Tom. And I also want to ask everybody listening to this right now, particularly those of you that are fans of WWE and are excited for SummerSlam this weekend, because I know we have some of you listening right now. It has been announced that the pre-show for each night of SummerSlam is starting at 3 Eastern.
Whoa.
With the main card starting at 6 Eastern. Now, we haven't been doing pre-show matches anymore, okay? I guess things could change. But you're telling me that the pre-shows for SmackDown are 3 hours long?
For SummerSlam.
SummerSlam with no matches? What did I say?
You said SmackDown, but maybe you're just expecting it to be as boring as a 3-hour SmackDown.
Bro, I'm asking the question. I won't judge you. Does anybody watch all 3 hours of these pre-shows? Why in God's name would the pre-show for a SummerSlam that's already going to be going like 4 or 4.5 hours, why in God's name? What could you possibly do for 3 hours on a pre-show with no matches? And
Bryan,
who could possibly watch that before the show starts?
Bryan, this is the same thing. I know you don't watch, but this is the same playbook, the same thing they do with big college football every single week. They just have these long, drawn-out pre-shows before the actual games. You get College Game Day. You get whatever Pat McAfee's doing. Maybe he's on College Game Day. I don't even know.
Okay, I
but these things go on for hours and hours.
Okay.
So it's just stolen from that playbook. People go and do other things. They make breakfast. They talk to their kids. They get them ready. It's just background noise.
I know, but like, okay, if the Super Bowl is going to be on Sunday, and you're going to do 6 hours of televised pre-Super Bowl, like, I get that, like, probably a lot of people, you'd get a good number for that on television. Not that people are, like, paying attention, but they've got the channel on. But, bro, this is on, like, YouTube.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Bryan, but some people, a lot of people, are just in the habit of always having something on. And if you are waking up on Saturday morning and your choice is to watch, I don't know, Grandma, Auntie, Nanny's cooking show from down the street on public access for 3 hours where she's, you know, baking tuna casserole, or to watch the 3-hour SummerSlam pre-show, I'm picking that 3-hour SummerSlam pre-show. I, like a lot of other wrestling fans, I think, enjoy watching wrestling more than they like watching other stuff. So
but you're not watching wrestling.
Yeah, but something's going to be on regardless.
Okay. Whatever. You're telling me, Tom, this Saturday and Sunday at noon on a weekend, you're not going to go hang out with your kids or, you know, go to the pool or something. You're going to sit and watch 3 hours of a panel show at noon?
I didn't say that, actually.
Okay.
I said exactly what you're saying.
God.
People just have it on, and they're doing other things.
Yes, God. It's not
Next
even
time,
YouTube,
listen to
by
what
the
I
way.
say,
It's Peacock.
please.
It's Peacock. You don't flip
Is that what
channels.
you're doing right now?
You don't flip through the channels and find Peacock. God. Anyway, who cares? Seriously, who cares? It's a lot. That's a long time. I will not be watching the
Is it
pre-show.
necessary? No.
No. I will not watch one moment of it. So the night one lineup has Raquel and Roxanne against Charlotte and Alexa. Gunther versus CM Punk for the world title. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso against Braun and Braun. The Braun Brawns. That can't possibly be their team name. Tiffany against Jade for the women's title. Sammy and Karrion Kross. And then maybe the TLC match. We don't know what show that's on. But it is the Wyatts against every team on SmackDown with the exception of Pretty Deadly. Because poor Elton Prince is hurt. Unless he can make his way back. I mean, they didn't literally announce the teams. They just said all of them. We'll do the Night 2 lineup and more news after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. What was up with this week? Everyone thinking Monday was Tuesday.
That was just
Everyone?
you, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it happened, it was like I got all these people that were messaging me going, my God, I thought it was Tuesday too today. It was like something happened with like the moon or something, and it caused everybody to think that Monday was Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's like, God, am I losing it?
Yes.
Have you ever lost something and gave up all hope before finding it in an obvious place?
Yeah, my mind. I went to go make her the quesadilla, and I opened up the pantry, and there's no tortillas. I looked down on the ground, and there's the package that they used to be in, but there's no tortillas. So I call Hanale over, and she says, well, I didn't know how to close the bag.
Uh-oh.
So I put them all in a box of light bulbs. I said, why did you put them in a box with light bulbs? Swear to God, she goes, if that box is good enough for light bulbs, it's good enough for tortillas. And I said, no, that's not worse. I open the box, these tortillas are hard as a rock,
She is so your
crumbling to dust.
It's insane.
God.
I lost my wallet at the Alamo Dome. The next day, I got a call from an usher that he found it. When I met up with him, everything was still in it. He refused to accept any money from me.
Wow.
Wow. I once lost my wallet in El Segundo.
Lantian says Big Dave's sanity.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he found it then. It's right there. It's never lost.
99% of the time, no matter where I park, I always know exactly where it is. But there's always that 1% of the time where is my car?
Dude.
And it's like in a bizarre place. Like, what was going on? All right, Granny, what do we got?
We need to buy you a machine that you speak into, and it converts your voice into text.
Oh, my God.
So you don't have to write it down anymore.
Absolutely not.
And then I think even better, we put that text into a text-to-voice app and have it read her.
Oh, my God.
Whatever. Stacy Keebler, her and Tori had a eggnog fight. Just a minute here.
Okay.
Looks my page.
Then he
I
looks
decided
completely depressed over there.
Take something from down below.
Mind your own business.
They're like,
Ray Kinsella builds a baseball field
Field
on
of
his
Dreams. Kevin Costner.
baseball.
James Earl Jones.
If you build it, they will come.
Iowa.
Oh, all right.
You didn't let me finish the question, Brian.
She's right.
Oh, she yells at me. So you mentioned before the break that the Garzas actually are not in the TLC match. They are defending the titles on SmackDown Friday, the AAA titles, against a mystery team, which maybe could be pretty deadly. I don't know.
I myself am hoping for Pagano to be out there, but
Yeah.
odds are probably against it. Maybe they're not.
Good God. Also on Friday, Damian Priest and Aleister Black and Julia versus Zelina Vega for the U.S. title. So night 2 of SummerSlam has Dominic and AJ. John Cena, Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed title in a street fight. Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu in a cage. Becky against Lyra. If Becky wins, Lyra cannot challenge for the title again as long as Becky is champion. And Naomi versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match. So, before Hulk Hogan passed away, we were actually talking on this show. As I've noted, I heard from somebody that it was actually spending time with Hogan, so this wasn't even like a friend of a friend. And they said, yeah, you know, what Bubba's saying is it's exaggerated, but it's definitely not good. But it's not as bad as Bubba says. And then like two days later, Hulk Hogan's dead. And everyone's like, oh, I guess Bubba was right. And at the end of the day, I mean, Bubba obviously knew something, and it was bad. But, you know, there were a lot of things like Hogan wasn't in a coma. I mean, there were things that Bubba said that were, in fact, not as bad as things were. But Jimmy Hart did an interview with People, and he said that the day before Hogan passed away, like, everything was looking good. He said, I called Hogan on Wednesday. Thursday morning is when everything took place. So just overnight it all happened. It was so positive the day before. Said during his battle he was in and out of the hospital. Hart noted he was not able to visit his friend. They were trying to protect Hogan from infection. It just hit so fast. It was like, oh my God, we thought he was doing so well. We didn't go to see him in the house, didn't go to see him in the hospital. Wanted to make sure he didn't get any infections or anything else, like if anybody had a cold or brought anything in. So that's what we all did. He said the last time he saw Hogan in person was prior to the surgery. Hart said Hogan was doing great as they interacted with fans. Hart last saw Hogan about a month ago. I think he had neck surgery early July.
I think it was May.
No.
A couple, yeah.
I think I think he had a surgery in July, and that's the one that he had complications from. Because it said that he had seen Hogan a month ago before he had neck surgery. And this was what People wrote this weekend. So I think he had a neck surgery in early July. And it said before then, Hart said he watched wrestling with Hogan 3 times a week. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, it says here. And friends also did karaoke together with Hogan's son, Nick Hogan, on Monday nights at the family's Hogan's Hangout Bar. And actually, if you remember, I think it was the day before Hogan passed away, Jimmy had done that tweet where he said everything was great. And we had
Great
pointed
time
out,
with Nick at karaoke.
yeah, I mean, so you know, it seems that what happened was that Hogan was having a lot of health issues, especially after that last neck surgery. And he had been in and out of the hospital a lot. And I think that he had been home for about 4 days after or prior to him passing away. So he was at home. And I think that friends and family, you know, he'd been discharged and was at least at home. And I think they were getting reports that, like, things were looking a little bit better. But then, you know, he had a massive heart attack, and that was that. So that appears to be... You know, for a lot of people, it did come out of the blue, that the heart attack on, I guess it would have been Thursday, right? Thursday?
Wednesday night, Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see, there was 2 interviews. There was Brutus the Barber Beefcake on TMZ, and also Ric Flair on the Ariel Helwani show.
I heard about Flair's interview. I didn't actually watch either of them.
Ric Flair said, you know, basically... just Hogan put such a toll on his body after all the surgeries, back surgeries, neck surgeries, hip replacements, that he just figured he was tired. You know, how much can the body take? And then he also went on to say, you know, I'm 5 years older than Hogan, and I have no aches or pains.
He said he had no aches or pains.
But and then he was kind of like laughing, you know, like I could be next.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Rick.
Hey, listen, all I can say is I can't believe, like, God bless the guy. I don't believe for 1 second Ric Flair has no aches and pains.
It's got to be impossible.
It's like...
He's got no nerve endings.
Well, you know,
really
it's like back in the day when these guys... Actually, like the Rampage story, where Rampage, you know, he's talking about, I never did steroids, and then... You know, he goes, I've been on testosterone for 15 years or whatever. And they're like, you know, that's steroids, right? And he goes, what? But like back in the day, like that was the thing with wrestlers was, you know, you were clean if you weren't like mainlining or something. It's like, I'm on, you know, steroids and, you know, whatever, but I'm clean. You know, it was a different. Ric Flair being absent of aches and pains probably means I don't know what, but he ain't absent aches and pains. It's like impossible, you know. He's had surgeries. He's had torn rotator cuffs.
He was in a plane crash.
Broken back. I mean, he just had the skin cancer surgery. I mean, there's no way he has no aches and pains. It's like, unless you're, I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but God. But he's still working out. I mean, you guys realized when he had his last match, I mean, and granted, I think this was him that told the story, but still, you know, he said that he went to get checked out, and the doctors found scarring on his heart, and they were like, "You realize you probably had a heart attack at some point in the last year?" And like, it was almost certainly that match. If this story that he's telling is true. Like, he had a heart attack in his last match. When we watched that match, and at one point, he just, like, went down and didn't get up and didn't move, and people were, like, doing things around him, and it was like, oh, my God, did this guy have a heart attack? Is he dead? And, like, he eventually got up, but, I mean, he actually probably did have a heart attack in the middle of that match. So, no, I do not buy that Ric Flair has no aches and pains right now. I find that very hard to believe. I should mention this. So, I got really mad the other day because, you know, they've been talking about this WWE Unreal show, and then they show a frickin' commercial on Raw that's Triple H telling IShowSpeed that he's in the Rumble and he needs to get in there right now. And they're pushing that this show is like the behind the scenes, backstage, real life, what actually happened. And I'm like, of all the things to put in a commercial, you put that? You single-handedly destroyed any interest I had in watching the show. Well, I have been told, we'll find out tomorrow, okay? We'll find out tomorrow. But I've been told that if you watch the show, the segment where Triple H tells IShowSpeed to get into the ring is not portrayed as a shoot. They portray that as, you know, this is a storyline for the Rumble. So I don't know why they aired that footage. Like, I'm just flabbergasted.
When does this air?
It airs tomorrow. First episode comes out tomorrow on Netflix. And the director, you know, he says he hopes WWE wants to achieve a similar result as Formula One, Drive to Survive, Tour de France, Unchained, which attracted new fans.
What's wild about those is they're unscripted sports.
Exactly. And he does say, I think, you know, it's a polarizing discussion in the wrestling realm, but the next fan coming in is what we're after, bringing in new fans. And you know what's funny is, like, it would be, and actually maybe they'll manage to pull this off. But you and I have both been and gone to a million shows and been involved in a million shows. And, you know, there is a way that you could probably do a legitimate behind-the-scenes, you know, documentary on an indie show or something like that without actually breaking kayfabe. Like, you could do it, because there is a lot of real stuff that goes on, even though the matches themselves are not choreographed, but actually maybe nowadays they are. But, you know, they're
largely what we see, I would say, on television and PLEs. Yeah, that's largely choreographed wrestling. How often do these guys actually just get out there and wrestle on the fly now?
I don't know.
Very infrequently.
It's hard to say. Like, the word choreographed is weird because, like, even like the matches we did with, like, the Bang Bros, it's like we had the entire thing, like, planned out from start to finish. But it's not like we got in the ring and choreographed it step by step. It's just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And there might have been a thing or two that, you know, was outside of what was planned. But I don't know if I would, even though we didn't call it in the ring, it's still hard to say that it was, like, choreographed. You know what I'm saying?
Brian, with, at least in regards to the major shows that I've been on, like, there's agents for a reason. You know what I mean? And they are getting details about every single thing that's happening in the match if it's on TV now. There's very few instances in which you get to go out there and just wrestle based on the feel of the crowd. Maybe there's like a short heat segment every once in a while that we see on television that's designed for that. But I would say that most of it's choreographed. And like, that's really no different from the beginning of wrestling history. You know?
All right,
Just
hold that
different levels
thought.
of it.
Yes, we'll talk about this more after the break. Observer Live. Granny, what's happening? What do we got for the wrestling report here today?
Talk or something.
Talk
Talk
or something.
So Niven comes in, jumps on Bailey with her overweight body a couple of times, doesn't mind playing dirty, leaves Bailey on the mat in lots of pain. I found this book. It's called Limericks from the Heart.
Is this a Lanny Poffo book?
Let me finish this one. This guy's name is Lanny Poffo. And there are 335 pages in here. Can you guess what it's about?
Smoking.
Oh,
Sean
Yes.
the Wizard.
have you read it?
We read it every week for about 6 months.
When I first started.
Wow.
Why don't we start reading some questions, and we'll see if we can spur some answers out of Granny. Shall we try?
No, I don't think so.
Let's try.
Then you'll really find out how dumb I am.
Granny, did you know there was a wrestling bear?
No, and I don't care.
All right.
It's a bear that wrestled people.
I still don't care.
Okay.
Is Granny frozen?
Granny, you frozen?
No, I'm ready to read my report.
Your picture is frozen.
It is
Yeah. Or you're doing a great job as a ventriloquist.
Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, or whatever his last name is. Paul Newman is watching this match, and he's not on
Excuse me?
Cody's side. What's the matter?
Absolutely nothing. Everything's great.
You know, Cody did say that he was looking for a manager. I think him and Paul Newman would be a
What a handsome pair.
a dashing duo.
That guy's a movie star, isn't he?
Since you're on the phone, why don't we just jump right into your wrestling report and such, and then we'll let you go and we'll do Facebook without you.
Can I lay the phone down and can you hear me?
You can try. Why don't you give it a shot?
Okay.
Oh boy, it's going to be a disaster. I can already tell.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That's all right, I guess.
Go ahead.
No, it's your segment. You're gonna read
Read us jokes.
or your wrestling report or whatever. I see Granny has now put the phone back up to her ear.
I'm just, for now.
Do you have the soaps or anything else, Granny, or are we? Is that it?
I want to quit for now.
Okay. Well,
No more.
instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. You know, actually, the match we do with Nick Gage and the mixed tag with Billy Starks. In both of those, we had the whole thing planned out, but when you and I were grappling, I mean, we didn't plan any of that out. We just went out there and just did it.
Yeah, we weren't on TV or PLE.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even then, it's I think we could have grappled for a minute. I don't think we need to choreograph that.
I can tell you, there's been many times in the back where I've gone over matches with wrestlers, and I say, well, I will hit you with a strike. I will do a throw to you. And they are baffled. They short circuit. What? You're not going to tell me exactly what it is right now at this very moment? So speaking from experience, I'm just telling you, I
believe you.
yeah, just, I don't know. But wrestling's been choreographed since the 1800s, just on varying levels, right? They would go out in front of the crowd and go like, hey, I'll take over here. Hey, I'll get an underhook later in the match and drag you down, and then I'll go behind, or I'll take over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think like back in the day when you had house shows, you probably had more freedom. But, I do remember going to house shows and watching a match, and then they would do the exact same match, like move for move when they did it on television. So, this person says, I know that Ghetto doesn't tell the wrestlers anything other than who wins and how much time. How much planning goes into the New Japan matches? You guys on your own?
If that guy knows, then why is he asking? Because he's got it pretty much spot on.
I think he's asking in the sense that the booker's not telling you what to do, but you and the wrestler, you're like, okay, we got 16 minutes. What are we going to do? And you guys put the match together.
Yes, but there's not necessarily like when you're watching AEW television or WWE or Ring of Honor or TNA, like as Lance can attest to on this very show, there's agents there getting certain certain cues so that they can pick up on it on commentary with the camera work. In a setting like New Japan where it's treated like a sport, you don't have that. You don't go to the camera guy or the agent and say, hey, we're going to do this here. You're given your match and you're sent out there to do it. So not that one way's better or worse. They're just different.
Well, I'm old. I didn't wrestle at a high level, but back for those Tim Flowers shows, we didn't have agents. Tim was the agent. And he would tell you, okay, so-and-so's going over. And then you would go and put your match together. But then you had to report back to him, what's the finish? What are you guys going to do? Just like a general overview. Because he didn't want the same finish in two matches. And, you were allowed to put your match together. But also, it's like, if you were second match on the card, he didn't want you to do all this crazy stuff that was going to show up the main event. It was a very old school way of doing it. And nowadays, I don't know. I mean, you have all these agents, but I need to ask Lance about this because, sometimes you'll watch a show and it's like, dude, we just had that finish 2 matches ago. How do we have the same finish twice on one show? Or, this or that. It's like, does nobody report back? Are you guys, if you're in the opener, Tom, is there ever anything like, don't show up the main event, dude? Or is it just like, go do whatever you want? You got 16 minutes. Go wild. Steal the show if you want to.
It depends on the show, depends on the promoter. If you go to an indie show, there's very few times that a promoter is going to come in the back and go like, hey, this is what we want specifically out of this match on the card. We don't want you to go crazy. It's usually, hey, this is your showcase. Go out there and go wild, It's a difference in the way that the shows are handled, too, because it's not as if each independent show is presented as necessarily an overall presentation. It's not like Monday Night Raw. It's like, hey, we've got this act going on first, we've got this act going on second, we've got this act going on third, we've got this act going on fourth, and the people come to see the different acts, not necessarily the show. So it just depends on where you're at.
All right, well, speaking of Japan, we got to the G1 update thanks to Jeremy Finestone. Speaking of Strong Style podcast on the Fight Game Media Network. Jeremy, right? He's a good guy. So at this point in the A block, Yota Tsuji has 8 points, 5 matches down, 4 matches left. A block ends the round-robin play on August 10th, so we still have almost a half a month left. Evil, Yuya Uemura, Bolton Oleg, and Ryohei Oiwa all have 6 points, and David Finlay only has 2. So my presumption is he's about to go on a win streak. Then the B block, we got a 2-way tie for first. Ren Narita and Yoshihashi, they both have 8 points. This block ends on August 13th. And it's skewed with points because Gabe Kidd had to forfeit the entire tournament. So everybody is getting his points. Even though there are buys upcoming for the remaining matches. Shingo, Zack, Takeshita, Drilla all have 5 matches left. Everybody else has 4. It is weird, Jeremy says, but it'll work in the end. I hope so. So, July...
I got a question, Brian.
Yes.
You said you think David Finley is going to go on a win streak. You think that's in New Japan?
Well, why are you asking this question?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I'm talking a
one
win
match
streak
so
in the
far.
G1.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. July 30th, a B block resumes with Zack Sabre and Takeshita, which could play in a Forbidden Door. Shota Umino and Shingo. You seen Shota lately?
No.
I think
Why?
he's getting
Beefed
ready
up?
for the super heavyweight division.
Still have a shaved head? I might shave my head later.
He is big right now.
Yeah.
He actually looks like that one time when I decided I was going to try and bulk up with a lot of whole milk, and I blew up like the Michelin Man. Drilla Maloney versus Ren Narita, and ELP versus the Great Okan. Best matches from the weekend?
Hold on.
Yes.
It's not ELP.
LP.
It's LP.
Whatever.
El Phantasmo.
El Phantasmo.
Not ELP.
I've done it 1,000 times. Best match of the weekend, LP versus Z Suj and Shingo versus Takeshita. If you can believe that Shingo versus Takeshita could possibly have been freaking great. Let's see here. Actually, Jeremy says that both of these matches were better than the matches at Wrestle Kingdom. So there you go. That's the update on the G1. All right. Any we don't have
Stardom 5-star Grand Prix going on.
yeah,
right now
which
as well. If you
outdrew the
haven't-
G1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Oh, I should mention that Drew McIntyre on social media announced that he was stuck in the UK. They won't let him leave because he didn't have his U.S. passport, even though they pretty much said, we know who you are. We've seen your photos of your passport. You have global entry. We're not letting you go. They did talk them into letting his wife fly home to take care of their sick animals, but he's stuck there, he says, and he said he may miss SummerSlam. Although I was told by somebody today it would be very, very unlikely that he misses SummerSlam. His match is scheduled for Saturday. They could always switch it for something on Sunday. And I expect that he's going to be there. But that is a legitimate story. That's not a... Like, it was funny because when it happened, everyone was like, is this real? And I was like, why would this be fake? Like, if you're going to make up some story to, like, put doubt on the SummerSlam match, this is what you came up with? No, this was 100% real. And hopefully he is back on the flight here soon. Any quick... we don't have time for the full review, but anything you want to mention from SmackDown this week?
Not especially.
You didn't like it either, did you?
Well, no, not really. The action over the past, I'd say since WrestleMania has been pitiful. I mean, really, we get no...
I'm trying to find out
good
if this is
matches.
Road Dogg's fault. Because people started bringing up, didn't Road Dogg, like, take over SmackDown, like, several months ago? Like, is that the problem? Someone needs to take blame for this.
At first, I was just, blaming it on the fact the show is 3 hours long, and I didn't want to watch it for 3 hours, and felt like it was long and drawn out because of the length. Well, it doesn't feel any different now at 2 hours.
And you know what? Do you remember when they first went to 3 hours in January?
And then we were getting good matches.
Well, it was like we were watching, and it was like, it's too long, but, like, it's fine. That was what we were reviewing in January. It's too long. I mean, it's fine, but it's too long. Something happened where, okay, now it's not only too long, but it sucks, and we're begging for it to go back to 2 hours. And then it went back to 2 hours, and it still sucks. So, like, I don't know if I mean, I don't want to blame Road Dogg if he's not responsible. It's just people keep bringing the name up like something happened. I'm trying to ask around and find out, like, what the hell's going on, because there's something that definitely happened, and this show sucks.
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh, I know.
That giving us a bunch of crappy finishes week after week would wear on the show. We never get a clean finish anymore. Never. In the main event, we have a tag team title match between Andrade and Phoenix, who I would like to see wrestle, taking on the Wyatt Six, who
They don't trust at all in the ring.
Them wrestle that much. They do.
They gave him 6 minutes.
They do a short match. Nikki Cross pulls the ref, which never causes a DQ. Never, never, never. The ref calls for the DQ.
I was dying.
At least that's what I sent you that text message. Remember?
Yeah.
So I've had it. I've had it with the show. But they did bring it back a little bit with a good brawl to end between every team seemingly on the SmackDown side. So I at least was left happy with the
really
chaos.
Good. Yeah.
But leading up to that, boy, I was disappointed.
I mean, it's literally what we were talking about with that TNA pay-per-view where they gave us a horrible finish in the main event. And it was like, okay, you gave us a horrible finish. At least we got to have something cool afterwards to send everybody home like on a high note or something. And they didn't. They just ended the show. And this is like exactly what they should have done, which is, all right, fine. You gave us a bad finish. You gave us a disappointing finish. But like, what are you going to give us at the very end to be like, oh my God, okay, that was worth my money. So yeah, that show, I was not a fan of that show. And then for Collision, I think the most notable thing on the show, like the difference between SmackDown and Collision this week is that SmackDown had a lot of big stars and no good wrestling. And then Collision had all sorts of good wrestling and no big stars. So I presume that SmackDown's going to murder them just because it's star power and it's wrestling. But as like a wrestling show, Collision was better.
You know what match I really enjoyed, Brian? That main event between Athena and Alex Windsor.
Very good match.
Every time, because we were talking about it earlier, one of the things that I love most about watching an Athena match is that even though it might be planned, nothing that she's doing looks choreographed. It doesn't look like she's playing with the person out there. She is in a fight every time, and I thought that Alex Windsor match was great.
Well, the most notable thing to me is we actually got brackets for this tag team tournament. He just released them like Friday night or Saturday morning. It's FTR versus Jet Speed, which FTR won. Keith and Big Bill versus Bang Bang Gang, which Bang Bang won. Outrunners versus Young Bucks, and Gates of Agony versus Brodito. So, at least we can like think about it now. I actually think that the Outrunners are beating the Young Bucks. And then we'd have Outrunners versus the winners of Gates of Agony and Brodito, which probably would be Brodito. And I presume FTR wins to face Hurt Syndicate. You could do the Outrunners, but like unless they're going to win the titles, I mean, we've seen that match multiple times. They've lost every time. So I guess we'll see. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Chat GPT, SmackDown review starring Filthy Tom and Bryan Alvarez.
Welcome back, you miserable wretches, to another disaster of an episode of Figure 4 Daily, the only show on the internet that's guaranteed to make your brain rot faster than watching one of these SmackDown episodes. I'm your host, Filthy Tom Waller, joined by the man who somehow manages to be more useless than a rubber knife in a prison fight, Bryan Alvarez. What's up, Bryan?
Let's not pretend you're the shining star of this operation. You're like a broken pencil. Pointless. And I don't even know I'm still here with you. Anyway, let's get to this train wreck of a SmackDown. Spoiler alert, if you were expecting a wrestling show, you've come to the wrong place. It was like watching someone fall asleep in real time.
You should know all about falling asleep, Bryan, since you've been half dead for years now. If enthusiasm was an Olympic sport, you would get a participation medal for showing up, but still lose.
I could tell the crowd was hyped for Drew, and Nakamura's music is always a banger, but it was just nothing. It's like watching a 5-minute commercial for a product you don't even want to buy.
And I bet the only thing that was more uninspiring than this match was your entire existence. Let's move on before I fall asleep right here on this microphone.
Tom, you think because you're a former fighter, that makes you a wrestling expert? You'd probably lose in a match with a traffic cone. Look, Jade's a star, but Liv Morgan, she's the human version of a please wait screen.
Liv Morgan is about as useful as a sandbag at a swimming pool party, who's like trying to make a turkey sandwich with no bread.
It's like the crowd went from yay to who's got the remote. Can we change the channel?
Liv Morgan's biggest move is making the audience wish for better things. She's like the human version of a wet sock. Nobody wants it.
I get it, Tom. You don't like fun. You don't like energy. You don't like anything that's not just sitting on your couch in your pajamas complaining.
More of the same.
Oh, we're back to more of the same, huh? Just like your wrestling career. More of the same, but somehow still a disaster.
Well, that's it, folks. SmackDown 2025 was more like SmackDown 2005. Same old stuff, same old disappointments. Join us next time when we tear apart something else for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, next time, Tom, maybe you'll actually have some real wrestling to talk about instead of whatever disaster this was. Until then, just remember, don't listen to Tom and don't watch SmackDown unless you hate yourself.
Whatever. It's your funeral.
What? I've never been so embarrassed doing this show as I was for the last 5 minutes. God. Show Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler. Frank Mir's daughter submitting this poor bloquette. Bird? Anyway, cross-face chicken wing. Should kill me. Just being honest.
You're talking about Bellamere winning at the Fury,
Fury
Challenger
Series
Series
14.
yesterday. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
For those of us who have no clue what you're referring to.
And then you've added some emojis here. Chicken leg fist. Is that supposed to be a wing? You put a leg.
It's a drumstick.
That's a leg.
Which I would like to use your head as.
Wow. That is not nice.
There's a lot of not nice things that go on.
You just threatened me. I should take
with a
advantage
good
of that
time.
now while you're basically immobile. Once you get that new hip, you're gonna be like Bellamere here.
I don't think so. I think my time is done. I think her time is now.
Yeah. All right, we got to wrap it up, everybody. I'm going to be back later on tonight with Dave, Wrestling Observer Radio. We were up last night talking a lot of stuff, including the Hulkster. And we'll be back tomorrow with Landstorm here on Observer Live and Filthy on Wednesday and Bryan and Vinny's show tomorrow night. There was Bryan and Vinny last night. So much stuff for subscribers, so check it out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or f4wonline.com. And it's a great week to do so because SummerSlam weekend is going to be very, very busy and full of shows only for subscribers. So check it out, everybody, and that's it. We'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.
All right, you guys are clear.